Today we'll be making the Spero Skirt, which is a very simple midi-length knit skirt that features an elastic waist and a slit in the back. It's super fun and easy to style. First, you'll need to download the Spero Skirt pattern. I'll link my site below. You'll see some images of the skirt on different bodies along with more information about the skirt here. Once you've added it to your cart and purchased the pattern, you'll get a link to download the files. Here you'll have 3 different pattern files, a print at home, large format, and a projector file along with instructions. You can use whichever pattern file you prefer to cut your fabric. You need the front panel piece, the left and right back panel pieces, and then 1.5 inch elastic. We'll start by marking the left and right panel pieces so that you don't get this confused as you sew. This next step is optional. You can finish the edges of the bottom half of the back panels. This will be the slit. Since we're using knit fabric, it's not required, but it looks extra clean, especially if you have a serger. We are going to take the left panel and flip it over so the wrong side is up. We'll fold the bottom slit at 1 centimeter and give it a good press. And then we'll edge stitch that down with your standard machine using a straight stitch. Just set your stitch length to 3 millimeters. Now we'll take the right panel and flip it so the wrong side is up. We'll fold this slit at 1.25 inch. We'll unfold it and lay the right panel face up and place the left panel on top face down so the right sides are together. Align the angled portions of the 2 pieces and continue up to the top and clip in place. We're going to sew starting at the top down to the end of the angled portion with a 1 centimeter seam allowance. If you're using a serger with a blade, you'll want to be careful you don't cut into the fabric as you near the angled portion. As the blade gets close to the angle sticking out, you gently pull it down so the angle is in line with the straight line you've been sewing. We'll open the back panels and lay it flat with the wrong side up. We're going to fold that right panel slit, which is now on the left, where we previously pressed it. And as we fold that, the left panel slit will fold over the right near the top now that they're sewn together. Use pins to pin it in place all the way down to the bottom. Now we're going to edge stitch this right slit down, starting right where the angled portion meets the vertical seam. Set your standard machine stitch length to 3 millimeters and edge stitch down the angle, pivot, and then continue on down the remainder of the slit. Once finished, give the slit a final press. This is what the finished slit should look like from the right side. Now we're going to sew the front and back panels together. Place the front and back panels with right sides together and use the notches to align the side seams and clip in place. We'll sew these together with a 1 centimeter seam allowance. Once finished, press the seams towards the back. Next, we'll work on the waistband. Fold and press the top down at 2 inches, and we'll pin this in place. If you plan to use a twin needle to sew the waistband, I recommend placing the pins on the inside because you'll be sewing this from the right side of the garment and it's easier to remove them as you sew. If you plan to use a zigzag or lightning stitch, you can just place the pins as you normally would. I'm using a twin needle for this tutorial, so once I'm finished pressing and pinning the waistband, I'm going to flip my garment to the right side. I'm going to sew from the right side, which means I'm going to have to feel for that fabric's edge underneath as I go. I just want to make sure my needles stay to the right of that edge as I'm sewing. I'm going to sew all the way around, stopping about 2 inches from where I started, leaving an opening. I wanted to show you what a double needle stitch looks like from the back side. While it looks like a double straight stitch from the front, the back is actually a zigzag stitch, and this allows for these stitches to still stretch and not pop when the fabric is stretched. Now we'll cut our elastic. I like to measure how much I need, give it a good stretch, and then measure it again before cutting. Sometimes elastic grows when it's stretched, and this just helps get the accurate size from the start. Now that we have our elastic cut, I like to trim one end to a point before placing a safety pin at the end. We'll use a safety pin to help guide the elastic through the waistband channel we just made. We'll work the elastic all the way around until it's back to the opening. Grab both ends of the elastic and pull them out far enough so that you can overlap the ends by 1 inch. Sew together with a zigzag stitch. Okay, now would be a good time to try on your skirt and make sure the elastic feels good around your waist. If needed, you can unpick and adjust before moving on to the next step. Once you've done a try-on and you know the waist fits good, we're going to move the fabric so it's evenly distributed around the elastic. You can do this by pulling the waist inside the fabric as you go. And then we're going to just sew the opening closed. Again, I'm using a twin needle, so I'm sewing from the right side, which means I basically have to feel for that edge of the fabric to make sure I'm catching it. Once the opening's sewn, I double check that my fabric is evenly distributed, and then we'll sew the elastic down by sewing a 1/2 inch from the top edge. I'm using my double needle, and I like to start in the back. I'll stretch the elastic as I sew to make sure there aren't any puckers in the fabric, but I'm not stretching it so hard that I'm pulling the fabric. Now we'll work on the hem. From the wrong side, fold and press the bottom edge at 1 inch. Pin in place. Before sewing, double check that each side of the slit is the same length. Sometimes between cutting and sewing, this is slightly off and you'll want to trim or adjust to even this out before sewing. You'll sew the hem using either a double needle or a single needle with a zigzag stitch, just like you did the waistband. And that's it, you finish your Spero. I hope this sew along tutorial was helpful and that you love your Spero skirt as much as I do.